also, uh, you know, drug transmitted. It could be, uh, you know, medically transmitted through uh, blood or, uh, mother's milk or through childbirth. There are other areas, other ways in which it can pass other than the blood, but it wasn't. But it wasn't airborne, so it didn't have that urgency. It's just that because it was such a sleeper virus, that by the time people noticed it, it had already been out for probably 12 to 15 years. And so it did explode all at once, all the symptoms. And then the different communities, medical communities, they started comparing notes. And this was information traveled a lot slower. We didn't have internet back then, so not in your home and stuff. There was the internet, but the companies and the governments used it. We didn't. The the news wires used it, but we didn't really have it in the home unless you were like Ferris Bueller, Matthew Broderick. In that War Games, he had the in, internet, but it wasn't well connected. It was they called them information servers. Okay, so I think my says my battery is low. Some features may be limited. I've talked about 20 minutes. I'm glad I stuck with it. I had some weird feelings looking at this. I don't think they've done service to the actual experience of advanced HIV disease, which is now what that stage of AIDS is. Because actually, it's not they have medication that can prevent the spread of it now. And if people who are HIV positive, uh, if they could follow those mandates, I think there's hope that we could eradicate it within my lifetime. But uh, either way, it's the same old story. What can we do? Prevention, uh, protection, and prevention. We just had better ways of protection and prevention and education. And lately, we've been a little laxed on the education part. It's a good thing because we spent like 3 years of a pandemic, like not even shaking hands or hugging because they're airborne and not going anywhere. Except maybe stepping out a little bit in the last couple of year and a half or whatever. We got our vaccines, so we can kind of get out a little bit. But economically, we're still getting over it. But everybody's like, well, let's all jump in the sack again. Yay. It's a good thing to remember there's still this threat of, we want to protect ourselves. And you got to take care of yourself because you can't always trust everybody when they say, hey, I'm medically, compliant, and you can't always trust people when they say, "Yay, I get tested." Well, you've got to self advocate, and you got to take care of yourself as much as you would expect your partner or partners to take care of you or whatever. So it's that same old. It's I don't know. It's provocative. Uh, it's not as terrifying. This show could not have been made, I don't think, during the height of the AIDS epidemic, and not have been an offense. And I hope that it doesn't offend today. But it's been like I don't know. It's like I was like, because I was young when all that was going on, and I did lose people. I was like, "Fuck, dude, really? Are you really telling this story?" Well, we've got 2 more episodes of it, and unless they throw a switch, and that's another you don't know. Uh, it seems like we're getting the American Horror Story. HIV is what they could have called this, and it would have been appropriate because that's what the story really is. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. Uh, I hope that what we learn from it in the future is that when we see something that's about to happen, we need to jump right on that. I hope we learned that from the COVID too. Uh, that when we have a little when we start seeing something and we can take an action to prevent it from turning into a pandemic, possibly, we should act as soon as we possibly can. Uh, you know, uh, so I don't know. Uh, I guess probably the pandemic probably is the reason why they needed to talk about the epidemic that was activity based or situationally based rather than because it was dependent upon the activity that the person might take part in, or maybe if they got it accidentally uh, medically. I mean, it was always you get it accidentally, and then later on there became people that wanted to get it on purpose or whatever, some sort of weird fetish thing or whatever. I don't. But that's not, most people are not like that. Uh, anyway, I'm getting way too serious about something because it is a serious topic. I really don't like it when they do this. The only other time they did this was when they did the American Horror Story cult, and they got a little serious with the political stuff early on. Early on, but almost to point the finger at the ridiculous of us, the way that we were acting on social media. Not me, I was an angel. No, I had some strong opinions and I didn't mind talking about it. It's one of the reasons why I decided to not do Facebook anymore. And this is, I guess I would feel better about this show if it really were history. But it has not been enough time for me that some of my friends that I've seen die from this disease. Uh, it's still a little bit raw. I'm not offended by it. No, I think in the service of saving lives, I'm glad that we grabbed attention to it. But I don't think they have not even gotten into looking at how vile this disease is or how it can be. Um, we're watching people dying peacefully in their sleep, uh, and being discovered in their beds, or being discovered, found, or being walked away by ghosts or something like that. If you really want to know, uh, check out that movie And the Band Plays On, that was based on the book. That was kind of a play on the boys in the band, uh, that took place in the early 80s also. Uh, because that is kind of like, it kind of fictionally, with fictional characters, but gives a historic chronicalization of the progression of uh, the medical community's reaction to HIV before they even knew what it was, viral or bacterial. Uh, and yeah, so uh, okay, I'm gonna stop talking now because it's a very sensitive thing. I love you guys. Sorry to get so heavy. Good night. I wasn't going to do the video, but I heard the fireworks, and then I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let me just go ahead. I'm happy now. Let me go ahead and talk about American Horror Story. So now I can stop this, and I'll let it load while I go watch my video of my fireworks, and I'll be all happy again. Bye.